Coming up on show 5:30, the Lotus Evija EV Hypercar, a high-mileage Tesla and an EV emoji. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to EV News Daily. It is Tuesday, 16th of July edition today. My name is Martyn Lee, and I go through every EV story that I can find to save you time. Had a sneak peek, by the way, yesterday of the 2.0 version of MyEV. For about a year now or so, I've been working with MyEV in the USA. It's a website, a marketplace, really. It's a community, a place to buy and sell only electric cars. It's a new way of thinking about trading cars. They don't actually sell the cars, they just connect people who are buying and selling. And well, it's time for a refresh. Had a little look at that yesterday. It looks really stunning. Can't wait for that to come around. In the meantime, you can check out myev.com. Oh, by the way, a quick update on the podcast disappearing from Spotify. Turns out it wasn't just me. Wasn't just EV News Daily. It's a Spotify issue. In fact, all of the podcast web browser links weren't working yesterday. So if you searched for a podcast on Spotify using the web browser, it wasn't showing up. If you use the Spotify app on your phone or tablet, they say it does work. Can you do me a favor? If you use Spotify through a web browser, are you able to just go to the podcast section, search EV News Daily, and play one of the recent episodes just to make sure it's working? And if it's not, bung me an email. If not, no worries. I know you're busy. They say Spotify are working on an issue, but I'd love to know if it's fixed your end yet. All right, let's talk about the big news. The big EV hypercar that was announced, the Lotus Evija. They've been teasing the electric hypercar for a while now, and we were told it would blow our minds. It's now been revealed, and yes, the stats are really impressive. The stats tell one story, the beauty of the car tells another. Well, according to Motor1.com, the Evija is the first new product to come from Lotus since joining the expanding Geely network, the Chinese company Geely, or as one of the YouTube videos yesterday called it, Geely. From actually an automotive journalist who I really rate and has been around for a long time, so maybe I've been saying it wrong all this time. Maybe the company's called Geely. I thought it was Geely. If all these figures hold true, then the 130 road-going examples are going to be in production next year, and it's going to be an incredible performer. Well, Lotus say that the all-electric powered Evija will boast 1,973 horsepower. That is sent to the road through 4 electric motors, generating about 500 horsepower each. I know, that's insane, right? 368 kilowatts of power each. Lotus say the Evija is going to do 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds, but the real story of this car isn't how it's geared to get to 60. It's what happens after 60 or 100 kilometers an hour. So 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. So you can bet that's 2.5 seconds odd, 0 to 62. That's fast. We know that Elon Musk and the new Roadster, they're talking about sub 2 seconds with some sort of rocket booster SpaceX package. But the next stage of the acceleration and actually the track performance is what the Evija is built for. It's impressive. When you consider that many petrol-powered hypercars are going to run out of steam, then you realise another 3 seconds is going to get you to 124 miles an hour. So less than 6 seconds to 124, that's 200 kilometres an hour, and it'll hit 300 kilometres an hour, that's 186 miles an hour, in less than 9 seconds. So 3 seconds, 3 seconds, 3 seconds. 369. 100, 200, 300 kilometers an hour. And you know what? After 9 seconds and traveling at 300 kilometers an hour, that's where I would certainly run out of talent. If also the fear would creep in as well. Well, Lotus say that the name Evija means the first in existence or the living one. They're made in Hethel, somewhere called Hethel in Norfolk, which is just outside the historic city of Norwich in the east of England, which is my old stomping ground. I grew up in East Anglia. I was, if you know the area, Great Yarmouth and Lowestoft and Norwich and places like that. So there is a connection that I have to Lotus as well. So I've always been interested in Tesla ever since I found out that Tesla were going to use the Lotus as a base for the original Roadster. So when I first saw that headline all those years ago, it certainly piqued my interest because I have an affinity with Lotus because they're made just down the road from where I used to live. People ask, by the way, where my interest in Tesla started, so that's the story. So, the cabin. Well, first of all, what it's built on. The Lotus Evija is the first Lotus road car to do a one-piece carbon fibre monocoque chassis. It's Formula One technology. The cabin is just a work of art. Fully adjustable race-style seats. So when I say fully adjustable, what I mean by that is there's so many road-going cars that are built to be race cars, so the seats are fixed, and then you move the pedal box and you move the steering wheel, if you can, and move some of those things. This is definitely designed to have those creature comforts in there, adjustable seats, all those kind of things, all hinting towards it being a road-going car. Active aerodynamics are deployed in the form of a rear spoiler. It elevates the spoiler from its resting position, which is flush with the bodywork, and then an F1 DRS-style system works in the diffuser as well, so the diffuser is basically at the back at the bottom of the car, and that's got moving parts in. Both are deployed automatically when you go into track mode. They can be deployed manually if you want to. The absence of door mirrors is one of the things that you notice when you first look at this car. That's, of course, all about reducing drag. Access to the cabin is through the dihedral doors, in other words, upwards and outwards. Handle-free doors are all about sculpting the exterior and, in a way, removing some drag as well, I guess. You open the door via the key fob or a little button on the roof. It's the first time Lotus has ever used such doors, and while they make for a moment of real dramatic theatre, Lotus say, they provide maximum space for getting in and out. Yeah, because the doors are upwards and outwards and completely out of the way. You may know that getting in and out of a hypercar is not the easiest thing to do, so it certainly helps. There are cameras integrated into the front wings that are deployed when you unlock them, and another camera is built into the roof, and that gives you a central view, so no mirrors, but it's all cameras on this. Images are displayed on 3 interior screens, so you can see all around you. It supports fast and convenient servicing and maintenance because the battery is actually visible from the top middle of the car. It's been designed so that in the future, alternative battery packs, maybe even as battery pack chemistry and technology improves, maybe if you are doing a track day and you've run out of power, I wonder if this battery is swappable because, if you can picture a typical maybe Ferrari or McLaren hypercar, you've got the 2 seats, it's a 2-seater, you've got 2 seats, and then behind them is often a glass panel or a perspex or plastic panel, and you can see down into the engine. Very common thing with hypercars, you can see the workings of the engineering. That's like this. You can see the suspension at the back, but also you can see the battery pack, and that's why I wonder whether actually if this is optimized for track days, whether it's swappable. I couldn't confirm or deny that. The Evija is a car that is on sale, and there are reservation spaces for it. I'm guessing you probably won't have one, though, because they're £1.5 to £2 million, and that's before any duties and taxes are added. If you have £250,000 lying around, it's a fully refundable deposit, by the way, and that will secure your production slot. The order books are open now. You can check out the details at lotuscars.com. And as I said at the very beginning of this story, it's an EV that's more about the stats and it's so much about the beauty. And there are definitely those, not just motoring journalists, but those petrol heads, those people that look at EVs as being glorified milk floats, as nothing more than a Prius or a Leaf and just saving the planet green cars. This is a car that has so much presence. You could put it in a museum or an art gallery, and it would look so beautiful. This thing has been designed to look stunning. There are some modern hypercars, by the way, where really they're all about the function of the car and the aerodynamics, and they get to a point where they no longer look as beautiful as they could do because they're all about maximizing the downforce, and that's fine. It's one road you can go down if they are going to be track cars that are technically road legal. This is definitely a piece of most stunning, beautiful design where from every angle you look at this car, there's something new to look at. And there's definitely hints of the new Tesla Roadster about it. But look, after all, if you are making a new hypercar, a new EV hypercar, there's only so many ways that you can style it. It's going to be a couple of meters wide, it's going to be low, it's going to have a certain style about it. But coming from the legendary name of Lotus and Colin Chapman and engineering and all of those things, you just know that this is going to be a car that handles well on the track, but also when you look at the interior, it's not completely stripped out. I couldn't see the button on the dashboard, but I saw the air vents, and so I'm guessing it has things like air conditioning. Again, I couldn't confirm or deny it when I was doing my research on this, but it looks like a car that is very much about being a high-performance road car that, yes, if you want to go do a track day, it will do it more than capably. 130 of these are going to be made, and it really is a halo car. It's a halo car for all EVs. It's a halo car for Tesla. It's a halo car for hypercars, much like the Rimac cars are as well, and the new Tesla Roadster is going to be as well. It's a hypercar that just happens to be electric. We can talk about things like range if you want to, but I think it's largely unimportant. It's 250 miles. You can talk about the battery pack if you want to, 75 kilowatt hours. I saw people on Twitter yesterday, the typical kind of, like, I'm not saying Tesla fanboys, but the ones that were like, you know, my car's better than your car kind of thing, going like, well, hang on, the Roadster's going to have a much bigger battery pack. Well, of course, with that comes weight. So everything is on a line, isn't it? You can put in a 300 kilowatt hour battery pack, but ultimately it's going to be heavy. So that's what they've gone for. We can talk about the power that comes out of the battery. Yeah, you can pull 2,000 kilowatts from the battery. I don't think any of that is as important because no one is really going to be doing, you know, a 2,000-mile road trip and really concerned about whether they have to stop, 5 times or 6 times. How quickly can it charge? Well, it'll work with 800-volt chargers. It's on sale. They're building it now, and next year it's on sale next year. Are there any 800-volt chargers to charge the car on? No. If if you've been paying attention, if you're new to the podcast, no worries. But long-time listeners will know 350 kilowatt chargers are all that's out there. But yes, if you plug it into a future 800 kilowatt charger, that's the maximum juice it'll take. It'll fill the battery in 9 minutes. I don't think any of these stats are fundamentally as important as the fact that it looks blooming gorgeous. You and I won't be able to get one, but it'll be on the front page. It is already on the front page of today's car magazine, very famous magazine that I often like to read. In fact, I used to work for the company that made it. It's a fabulous magazine. It's called Car Magazine. I know some of the people that work there as well. Incredible car journalists. Some of them drive EVs. They're big EV fans. They've put EVs on the front cover of before. They've only got 12 front covers a year, remember, on a monthly magazine. And the Lotus EV is this month's front cover. It's going to be... I've just seen the YouTube videos racking up hundreds of thousands of stats. This is more than just a car that you can go and buy. This is about being a halo for all EVs. And I am bloomin' well chuffed. I'm just so excited about this car. 8 times more powerful than a Formula One car. Yes, it's got an app in case people start saying, oh, but I think you'll find the Tesla has a brilliant app and you can turn the air conditioning on from the Tesla app. Yes, it does that. Yes, it has over-the-air updates. Yes, it's fully connected. But I don't think any of that is as important as the message it sends. All right, I'm going to put a link in the show notes to things that you might want to do more. I've been tweeting out links to great videos as well. And if you want to find out more details, they're all online. Let's talk about some record-setting EVs, but this is in terms of how far one can go. Hans-Jörg Gemmingen, known in the EV world for setting a high-mile record for the first-generation Tesla Roadster, did about 620,000 kilometres in that. That's 385,000 miles. He just set another milestone, but this time in his Model S. Says Inside EVs, well, Gemmingen is already over 900,000 kilometres. That's 559,000 miles. According to the 2 images that he posted on his Twitter. He's got a Model S P100d. It's one of the oldest versions out there, and it's running on its second battery pack at the moment, but apart from that being replaced, it looks enormously stock and original. A remarkable amount of miles for any car to do, even though Tesla did replace the battery pack the first time under warranty. Are there any gasoline cars that would go 900,000 kilometres without an engine replacement? What's even more impressive is that someone actually drives that much, and they chose a Tesla to do 500,000 miles in. Somewhere that's selling plenty of EVs at the moment is China. And with China all in on electric vehicles, the number of charging posts, or poles as they call them over there, I think they call them poles, around the country has been exploding, says interesting engineering website. According to EV Charging Infrastructure Promotion Alliance, at the end of June, the number of charging poles is over 1 million now in China, according to the official state-run press agency of the People's Republic of China. And in a year, so if you do year over year, so in 12 months, there's been 70% growth. 140,000 extra public charging posts have been added. That is about 11,700 new charging posts added every single month in China. Staying with charging, and rapid charging could be getting even easier here in the UK. More news from this country where the government wants all new electric vehicle rapid chargers and I can't find out what they define as rapid charger, but it must be in some sort of amendment or footnote somewhere. You would think they're thinking of 50 kilowatts or more, to have credit or debit card contactless from next year. And this is really important because it's one of the things that I totally understand. Right? But everyone's very critical online about the current state of the charging infrastructure, but I totally get it. Using things like key fobs, RFID cards, being part of a club, having to register, having to have an account with certain chargers. Some of them I'm not keen on, but I have to use them. So some of them you have to load money on. So I put £10 onto the account and then I'll use it, £1 here, £1 there, but they've got, my money. Oh no, it's only £10, but they've got my money sitting in it. And will I ever use all of that? So I don't like models like that, but the government are in agreement. In an announcement, the Department of Transport in this country said that all new charging points should offer the facility by spring next year. That's an ambitious target of having contactless on the front of them. So your debit or your credit card, tap it on the front, it'll charge you for the session. No being a member of any particular club or having special cards in your glove box. It's an idea to develop a pay-as-you-go payment option across the entire charging network, ensuring that drivers don't need smartphone apps in case they're out of battery on their smartphone or even there's no signal in the area. While the government says they haven't explicitly told companies they must do it by spring, they have warned all the charging companies that they're going to intervene if they're acting too slowly. One company that didn't act slowly, in fact, they've been doing it already. They were just very clever with their PR and their announcement. Obviously, they've been working on this for a long time, but in tandem with the government announcement, BP Chargemaster, so yes, the company that used to be Chargemaster, now bought by the oil company BP, they have already promised to introduce card payments on all of their 50 and 150 kilowatt chargers as of now. So any new ones they're putting out there are going to have contactless on the front. They're going to retrofit the technology to all their existing Rapids as well within the next year. Let's move on to the Volkswagen ID.3. The ID.3 electric hatchback has had more press releases written about it by VW than they've made prototype versions, I'm guessing. But once again, it's been spotted in the public, in quite a public place. So you do wonder about these so-called spy photos, these spots, especially when they're in areas that are not that secret. Look, there's plenty of places you can go to test an EV on the planet where you know you won't be... Sorry, did you hear that? That was a text going off. Schoolboy error. Phone back on silent. This time, the ID.3 turned up in the unexpected location of Queenstown, New Zealand, says Inside EVs. And thank you as well to one of my listeners who lives there, who did send me the photos as well. He sent me photos occasionally because it's somewhere that EVs get taken to do testing. Now, I won't say his name, but he knows who he is. So thank you for sending me those photos directly to my email address. Well, the ID.3 is being tested in New Zealand by some German drivers. Their faces have been concealed in the pictures. Judging by the state of the cars, they've been giving them a right old test as well. Off the beaten track, some of them are really dirty. Well, a forum member of Inside EVs, Jose Garzon, said the photo was taken in Queenstown and it's near the Wanaka. Careful how you say that one. The Wanaka, the proving grounds, the Southern Hemisphere Proving Grounds, the SHPG, where a lot of cars are taken to do testing. Plenty of tracks there for winter testing. If you're doing calibration of cars, nowadays development timings are shorter, so if possible, companies will ship their cars all around the world to do calibration testing in everything from the Mojave Desert to the coldest of cold. New Zealand tends to be somewhere where you can get plenty of different testing done, lots of different temperatures, North Island, South Island, and so the images of these cars mean that they are certainly fine-tuning the ID.3's capabilities. On the other hand, says this forum member, it could mean that something isn't working at the last minute and they've shipped the cars to do some extreme testing. All speculation, of course. Final story today, we're talking charging-ish. Electrify America, the organisation set up out of the "you've been very naughty" Volkswagen money. As modern-day communications evolves, people are using emoji all the time in messaging, and with 230 new emoji characters being added in this year alone, they say it's important that EVs are represented. Electrify America, with its network of ultra-fast chargers, this is a bit of a PR campaign, to be honest, just to get people like me talking about them, they have submitted a formal proposal for us to have a EV emoji. They've submitted that to the governing body, the Unicode Consortium, to have the first ever EV with charger emoji. It's a picture of a car and an electric pump next to it. For smartphone keyboards, let's hope it comes off. Thank you very much to myev.com for setting our question of the week. Should all charging networks be open to everyone, or is it okay to have walled gardens? Tesla have spent the money on having their own charging network, and if you were to pull up in your petrol-powered or diesel-powered car to a petrol station, and that petrol station said, oh no, this is only for German-made cars. You can't fill your car here, only for certain manufacturers. You'd be furious. Should that be the case with EVs? Should all chargers be open to everyone or not? Let me know your thoughts. You can email me, hello@evnewsdaily.com, or leave a comment on Facebook and YouTube. Well, there are now 235 patrons of the show. Thank you so much. Your generosity means that I get to make this show. Very occasionally buy myself a new bit of equipment that helps make it. I haven't done that in a while, actually. I'm trying to think what I've done. A couple of months ago, bought a little... what do you call them? Like gimbals? Like you can get them on Amazon for like £100, and they make your camera look steady. So when I'm out and about doing kind of YouTube-y stuff outdoors, that it doesn't look all shaky. Well, that's the last thing I spent some money on, really. Thank you very much to all of my Patreon fans. patreon.com/evnewsdaily if you've wondered what it's all about. If you want to get any of the previous 529 shows, you can do that online right now, where you get your podcasts from. The new shows are online every day. You can get them first and free, and automatically by hitting subscribe. Come and say hi on the socials by searching EV News Daily. Have a wonderful day. I'll catch you tomorrow, yeah? And remember, there is no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.